Yo, what's up, everybody? Raise your hand if you've ever dealt with a toxic person who just drains your energy, talks behind your back, or makes you feel small. We've ALL been there, right? But here's the truth most people never figure out. Dealing with toxic people isn't about changing TM, it's about changing how you respond. And today I'm going to give you the smartest way to handle toxic people so they no longer steal your peace, your energy, or your progress. If you're ready to take back control of your life, let's dive in. All right, let's dive into the first thing you need to understand if you're ever going to deal with toxic people the smart way. And this is huge. This is the foundation for everything else I'm going to share today. Their toxicity is never, ever about you. I need you to really let that sink in for a second. Never about you. See, most of us, when somebody comes at us with negativity, criticism, drama, gossip, manipulation, whatever it is, we immediately start asking ourselves, what did I do wrong? Why are they treating me like this? Maybe I deserve this. We take it personally. We carry it. We replay conversations in our head at 2 a.m., trying to figure out how we could have said something different, been better, been quieter, been louder, been anything other than who we were in that moment. But here's the truth that will set you free. Toxic people are toxic because of what's going on inside of them, not because of anything you did or didn't do. Think about it. That coworker who's always passive-aggressive, throwing little jabs in meetings. That friend who constantly puts you down but disguises it as just joking. That family member who drains you every time you talk to them. Their behavior isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their pain, their insecurities, their unresolved trauma, their fear of not being enough, their need to feel in control. Whatever it is, it's baggage they've been carrying around long before you ever showed up in their life. And the moment you truly get this deep in your gut, not just in your head, everything changes. Because when you stop taking their toxicity personally, you stop giving them the power to control how you feel about yourself. I remember years ago, I had someone in my life who would criticize everything I did. Every goal I set, every move I made, every win I celebrated, there was always something negative to say. And for a long time, I let it eat at me. I'd get defensive. I'd try to prove myself. I'd walk away from conversations feeling small, doubting myself, wondering if they were right. Then one day it hit me like a truck. This person wasn't criticizing me because I was doing something wrong. They were criticizing me because seeing me go after my dreams reminded them of the dreams they'd given up on. Seeing me grow triggered their own feelings of stagnation and regret. It had absolutely nothing to do with me and everything to do with the story they were telling themselves about their own life. And in that moment, something shifted. I stopped trying to change their opinion. I stopped needing their approval. I stopped letting their words live rent-free in my head because I finally saw it for what it was, their stuff, not mine. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. We're wired to take things personally. It's human. But the smartest, most powerful thing you can do in face with toxicity is to pause just for a second and remind yourself, this isn't about me. Next time someone snaps at you, gossip about you, belittles you, or tries to pull you into their drama, silently say to yourself, their baggage, not mine. Let it be their weight to carry, not yours. Because here's what happens when you make this shift. You protect your peace. You protect your energy. You stop wasting time and emotional bandwidth on things you can't control, like another person's inner world. And you free up all that space to focus on what actually matters, your growth, your goals, your happiness. You stop playing defense against their negativity and start playing offense for your own life. So if you take nothing else away from today, take this: the smartest way to deal with toxic people starts with this one mindset shift. Their behavior says everything about them and nothing about your value. You are not the problem. Their pain is showing up, and it's not your job to fix it or absorb it. When you stop taking it personally, you take back your power. And that's where real freedom begins. All right, so we've established the foundation. Their toxicity isn't about you. It's their baggage. Once you've got that locked in, the next smartest move is to stop letting their baggage spill all over your life. And the way you do that, you set strong, clear boundaries without guilt, without apology, without over-explaining. Now, I know the word boundaries can sound a little clinical, like something you read in a self-help book and then forget the next day. But let me reframe it for you. Boundaries are just you deciding what kind of treatment you're willing to accept and what kind you're not. It's you saying, I love myself enough to protect my peace. Most people think setting boundaries means having a big confrontation or cutting someone off forever. That's not true. Sometimes it's as simple as choosing how much time, energy, or access you give someone. And here's the part that trips most people. You don't have to feel guilty about it. Think about it like this. If you had a house with a beautiful yard, and every day some stranger walked through your gate, trampled your flowers, and left trash everywhere, would you feel bad about putting up a fence?
No.
You'd say, this is my space. You don't get to come in here and wreck it. Boundaries are the fence around your emotional yard. So let's get practical. What does this actually look like with toxic people? With that coworker who's always dumping their drama on you during lunch, you can say, hey, I've got a lot on my plate right now, so I'm going to eat at my desk today. That's a boundary. You're not being rude. You're protecting your energy. With the friend who only calls when they need something and never asks how you're doing, you can stop answering every late night crisis text. You can reply the next day instead of jumping to rescue them. Or you can even say, I care about you, but I can't be your go-to person for every problem anymore. That's a boundary. With the family member who always criticizes your choices, you can limit how often you visit or change the subject when the conversation turns negative, or simply say, I'm not going to discuss that today. You don't owe them an explanation for every boundary you set. Here's the key: you don't have to make it dramatic. You don't have to announce it like you're declaring war. You just quietly decide what you will and won't tolerate, and then you stick to it. Consistency is what makes boundaries real. And yeah, people will push back. They'll get upset. They'll say you're being different or cold or selfish. That's normal. Toxic people are used to getting whatever they want from you. When you change the rules, they don't like it. But their discomfort isn't your fault. Their reaction is just more evidence that they were benefiting from you having no boundaries. I used to struggle with this big time. I thought being nice meant saying yes to everything, being available 24/7, letting people vent endlessly even when I was drained. I thought if I set a boundary, I was being mean. Then I realized something powerful. Saying no to things that hurt me is actually one of the kindest things I can do for myself. And for the people I actually want to show up for fully. When you stop leaking energy to people who don't respect you, you have more to give to the ones who do. You show up happier, calmer, more present. That's not selfish. That's smart. So start small if you need to. Pick one area where you feel drained and decide what the new rule is going to be. Maybe it's no more answering work emails after 7 p.m. Maybe it's not engaging when someone tries to guilt trip you. Maybe it's leaving the room when a conversation turns toxic. Whatever it is, decide it, say it, and then hold the line. Will it feel uncomfortable at first? Probably. Will some people get mad? Almost definitely. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom, peace, energy, the ability to focus on your own life instead of managing someone else's chaos. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're protection. They're you saying, I matter. My peace matters. My time matters. And the moment you start treating yourself like you matter, everything changes. So draw the line, hold it steady, and never apologize for protecting what's yours. That's how you take your power back. All right, you've got the foundation. Their toxicity isn't about you. You've started putting up those strong boundaries to protect your space. Now let's talk about what happens in the moments when you're face to face with it, when they're coming at you with negativity, drama, or manipulation. The smartest move here isn't to fight fire with fire. It's not to argue, defend yourself, or try to make them see your side. It's to respond instead of react. And that, my friend, is how you protect your energy like a fortress. Here's the difference. A reaction is emotional, automatic, knee-jerk. It's you raising your voice, firing back a text in the heat of the moment, getting pulled into an argument that goes nowhere. A response is calm, intentional, chosen. It's you pausing, breathing, deciding how or even if you're going to engage. Toxic people thrive on reactions. That's their fuel. When you snap back, get defensive, or even just show that they've gotten under your skin, they win, they've hooked you. They've pulled you down to their level and stolen your peace in the process. But when you respond with control, or choose not to respond at all, you starve them of that energy. You stay in your power. Let me paint a picture. Imagine someone close to you starts criticizing your life choices out of nowhere. Old, you might jump in. Why do you always have to say stuff like that? I'm doing my best. You explain, you justify, you get heated, and 2 hours later, you're still upset, replaying it, feeling drained. That's a reaction, do you? You pause. You feel the emotion rise, but you don't let it drive. You might say something neutral like, I hear you, or that's your opinion, and then change the subject. Or you might say nothing at all and just walk away. You don't take the bait. That's a response. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful skills you'll ever build. Because every time you choose response over reaction, you're training your brain to stay calm under pressure. You're proving to yourself that no one gets to hijack your emotions without your permission. I've been there. There was a time when the smallest comment would set me off. I'd feel the need to be right, to have the last word, to make sure they knew they were wrong. And every single time I was the one who paid the price, lost sleep, wasted energy, carrying that heaviness around for days. Then I learned this truth: winning an argument with a toxic person isn't a win. It's just more time spent in their world. So I started practicing the pause. Whenever I felt that heat rising, I'd take a breath and ask myself one question: is engaging here going to help me or hurt me? 9 times out of 10, the answer was hurt. So I'd choose silence or a short neutral reply and move on. And you know what happened? The drama stopped having its grip on me. They'd throw the bait and I wouldn't bite. Eventually, they either backed off or found someone else to feed their need for conflict. Now, this doesn't mean you become a doormat. Responding calmly isn't the same as accepting disrespect. You can still hold your boundary. You can remove yourself and the conversation, or say, I'm not going to continue this if it stays like this. But you do it from a place of strength, not anger. Think of it like martial arts. The master doesn't flail wildly when attacked. They redirect the energy. They stay centered. That's you. You're not suppressing your feelings. You're choosing not to let someone else control them. Start practicing this today. The next time you feel triggered, count to 5 in your head before you speak, or step away and come back later if you need to. Over time, it gets easier. You'll notice you recover faster. You'll walk away from toxic encounters feeling lighter instead of heavier. Because here's the bottom line: your energy is your most valuable resource. It's what you use to build your dreams, nurture your relationships, take care of your body and mind. And no toxic person deserves access to it without your consent. When you master responding instead of reacting, you stop leaking power and start keeping it all for yourself. That's real control. That's real freedom. All right, we've built a solid defense. Their toxicity isn't about you. You've set those strong boundaries and you're responding instead of reacting to protect your energy. But here's where most people stop, and where the real transformation happens. The smartest way to deal with toxic people isn't just managing them in your life. It's shifting your focus entirely to your own growth and intentionally surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher. Because here's the truth, you can't always remove every toxic person completely. Maybe it's a coworker you have to see every day, a family member you can't just ghost, or someone tied to your social circle. You might limit contact, set boundaries, stay calm, but they're still there in the background, taking up some space in your world. So what do? You make that space as small as possible by making everything else in your life so much bigger. You pour your time, your energy, your attention into becoming the best version of yourself and into relationships that actually add value. Think about it like your phone's storage. If your phone is full of junk apps you never use, there's no room for the things that matter. But when you delete the junk, suddenly you've got space for better music, better photos, better tools that help you live a fuller life. Toxic people are the junk apps. They don't help you grow, they slow you down. But when you start filling your life with the right people and the right pursuits, there's simply less room for the wrong ones. So let's talk about how to do this practically. First, double down on your growth. Make it non-negotiable. Read the books that expand your mind. Listen to the podcasts that fire you up. Go to the gym, meditate, journal. Learn that skill you've been putting off. Every time you invest in yourself, you raise your standards, you start vibrating at a higher level. And here's the beautiful part: when you level up, toxic people either step up or naturally fall away because they can't keep up with the new you. I've seen this happen over and over. People who start prioritizing their growth suddenly notice that the same old complainers don't reach out as much. The drama seekers find someone else to feed off. Why? Because you're no longer an energetic match. You're too busy building something amazing to entertain negativity. Second, be intentional about who you let in close. Start seeking out up-levelers, people who inspire you, challenge you, celebrate you, and hold you accountable. People who talk about ideas, goals, solutions, not gossip, problems, and limitations. Where do you find them? Join that mastermind group. Sign up for the class or the gym or the networking event. Reach out to someone you admire online and just say, "Hey, I love what you're doing. Would love to grab coffee and learn from you." Show up in communities where growth-minded people hang out. It might feel scary at first. You might worry you don't belong yet. But here's what I've learned: the right people don't care where you're starting, they care where you're going. And when you find even one or two of these people, it changes everything. Their energy becomes contagious. Their belief in you strengthens your belief in yourself. I remember when I made this shift years ago, I was surrounded by a lot of average thinkers, good people, but stuck in the same cycles of complaining and settling. I started spending more time with entrepreneurs, creators, athletes, people who were obsessed with getting better. And within months, my mindset shifted. My goals got bigger. My habits got stronger. The toxic influences, they faded into the background because my focus was elsewhere. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. So if you want an extraordinary life, surround yourself with extraordinary people. And yes, this might mean outgrowing some old relationships that can feel painful, but staying small to keep others comfortable isn't loyalty, it's self-betrayal. So make the choice today, shrink the space toxicity takes up by expanding everything else. Grow so much that there's no room for drama. Build a circle so strong that negativity can't penetrate it. Because the ultimate power move isn't just handling toxic people, it's creating a life so fulfilling, so full of purpose and positive energy, that their influence becomes irrelevant. When you focus on your growth and surround yourself with up-levelers, you don't just deal with toxic people, you rise so far above them that they can't even reach you anymore. That's how you win for good. All right, let's bring this all together. Today, we've laid out the smartest way to deal with toxic people, not by trying to change them, fix them, or out-argue them, but by taking full control of what's always been in your hands: your mindset, your boundaries, your energy, and your focus. First, you stop taking their toxicity personally. It's their baggage, not yours. When you release that weight, you free yourself from the emotional hooks they've been using. Second, you set strong boundaries without guilt. You decide what you will and won't allow into your space, and you hold that line like your peace depends on it, because it does. Third, you respond instead of react. You stay calm, you stay centered, and you refuse to hand over your energy to someone who doesn't deserve it. And finally, you shift your focus to what truly moves the needle: your own growth and the people who lift you higher. You fill your life with so much purpose, progress, and positive energy that toxicity simply runs out of room. Here's the truth: toxic people only have as much power as you give them. Take it back, protect it, multiply it by investing in yourself in the right circle. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to prove anything to them. You just need to rise so high, grow so strong, and live so fully that their negativity can't touch you anymore. So starting today, right now, make the commitment. Protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. You've got the tools, you've got the power. Now go live the life you were meant to live, free, focused, and unstoppable. Thank you. Let's get after it.